Good afternoon, evening, everybody. My name is Elina Pedersen. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer of Bourse and one of the hosts of Dealers Connect. I'm joined with my wonderful co-host, co-founder of Dealers Connect, the founding father of Dealers Connect, Garanin from Yourfintech. Do you want to tell us what Yourfintech does, or should we?
Let's keep it as a secret.
It's a secret.
We
will let you know very shortly what they do. There will be an opportunity to share that information. But ultimately, they do dealing desk as a service, and they also do some financial products, which are quite fantastic. And we are joined today by two MetaTrader infrastructure experts, Marat Sultanov and Valter Timanov. And I will let them introduce themselves.
Thank you, Elina. Yeah, thank you. Hi, everyone. Yes, my name is Valter Timanov. I'm Chief Operational Officer in Bourse currently. I have approximately 16 years of experience as CTO of multi-asset broker as well. So, yeah, that's it. Marat.
My name is Marat. I'm working right now as a CTO and co-founder of FastMT company. We are managing servers for the brokers, we're managing infrastructure, we're managing MetaTrader and all the stuff around MetaTrader and trading platforms. Not only MetaTrader, actually.
Brilliant. Thank you for joining us. So the guys are pretty technical. I must say we've discussed this topic and I had to make them slightly more businessy-ish. So we thought we will run this in a way that we will ask them some questions in regards to the operations of the broker, right? And when you set up your MetaTrader broker, one of the things you will have to do, which is different from other platforms, is host your MetaTrader, right? So I'm just wondering, what would be the first things, like let's say I'm a startup, I'm a MetaTrader 5 startup, and I'm just setting up. What would be the first things that I should keep in mind when I start setting up? How do I do it?
Okay, as you said, MetaTrader is a hosted platform, so you need to have some kind of servers where you will install this platform for the clients. So first of all, you need to choose the location because it's most important for to choose the right location. Most of the LPs are concentrated in two locations in the world, in London and New York. For forex brokers, it's much more important to have location, choose location as New York, London, because there is much more liquidity providers for the forex. And also bridges and execution providers are also there, and many other service providers are there. Specifically, this is Equinix, LD4, and across the road there is LD5 probably, and this is the same data center. When you choose the location, but not only location of your liquidity provider is important, the location of your target audience is important as well. So your clients could have your target audience. It could be in China, or it could be in Europe, or it could be Russian clients, or some other like Middle East clients, for example.
Can I ask a question? So I think I'll address this to Valter, because as you've been talking, what I was thinking about is that when you say it has to be London and New York because of the liquidity providers, so it's like, I am assuming it's liquidity centric, and I know that as a rule of thumb, you should always place your bridge next to your liquidity providers. But as I understand, and I'll let Valter respond to that, is it also important to place the MetaTrader close to your liquidity providers and your execution technology?
Yeah, that's clear. Yeah, thank you, Elina. So yes, of course, it's important to put all together, actually, have trading platform, even it's MetaTrader or any other trading platform, like your execution engine, bridge, whatever you have, and your liquidity providers. Ideally, you should achieve as less latency as you can. So, like best practice to have it in one data center, for example, and here you can achieve network latency less than 1 millisecond. You can have cross connection, etc. Yeah, this is like what you should have ideally. I would add one thing about what Marat said. You have to understand that your clients can be located somewhere else, right? In Australia and Latin America, for example, in Asia, whatever. And in some cases, usually from my experience for big brokers, they choose to do hosting like far from liquidity provider to achieve like small latency for clients. In some
The one they can see on the MetaTrader,
Yes,
right? Because there
exactly,
is this tab where you can
exactly.
see the latency once you connect as a client.
Because in MetaTrader, when client and user can see this latency, he will see not latency between his computer, his PC, and the access point or data center of server, but he will see full latency to server. And for some clients, it's very important to have it like to have small latency, right? And in this case,
Small marketing, right?
yes, and in this case, I can agree, like, I can understand setup like this, and you can do that, but you should understand risks. You should understand that you will have, like, if you will place trading platform, let's say in Asia, but your execution engine and liquidity provider will be placed in London, right? You will have permanently, like, pricing latency, execution latency, and you should understand this risk, like, but you still can do this.
But how do we balance between the location of the client and the location of our execution engine? What is the best practice?
Best practice, as Marat said, to have all together. So
Let me answer this question. Yeah, actually, yes, of course, you can have the clients in some far region, but it's for the broker itself, for my opinion, it's much more important to have better execution. Because when you will place your server close to the client and your liquidity provider and execution engine is far from the client will place the order on the price what he can see on a chart at the point when he plays the trade. But when the trade is executed, the price will be completely different, and it's a bad client experience, from my opinion.
So it's slippage, right? Ultimately, they will not be able to argue because you're close to your pricing point, but they will get slippage because of the time that it goes for the MetaTrader to reach the pricing point.
Exactly.
Okay. You want to continue on that?
Oh, yeah. Why not? So when you choose the right location for your servers, you actually, for the small brokers, you need to set up just a server for the MetaTrader and choose the right execution engine, like your Bourse, for example.
Thank you.
And
Free advertising.
And agree with some liquidity providers to connect everything together. But if you have clients in different regions, you also need to deploy access servers. Which is working like a caching center for quotes and ticks. It's still client trades will go to the end of your trading server, to the exactly trading server, but the quotes they will take the quotes from the access server. So
Okay. One thing I'm going to ask before we move on to the next part of hosting, so to say, is regarding throttling. So obviously, if you end up sending all of the quotes that you're receiving from the liquidity providers and you're aggregating into your MetaTrader, it's a great platform, possibly one of the most powerful there are. But are there any rules as to how much you need to throttle to make sure that the performance of MetaTrader is actually optimal? I'm going to ask you.
Not very difficult question, honestly. It's a simple rule for MetaTrader 4, for example, you cannot get more than 3 ticks per second. So if you set like to receive 1 tick per 300 milliseconds, this is your limit, and this is absolutely fine for MT4. For MT5, there is no limit, but from my experience, for normal retail broker, you can play with like values from 20 milliseconds to 200 milliseconds. It's up to your decision again. We have some cases for, I think, especially for some hedge funds, they do use like high frequency trading through MetaTrader 5, and they ask us like to remove this limitation, and they just receive all the ticks, and that's fine. But I don't know. Can you comment on this?
Yeah, I have some comments. So let's say you don't have any limitation for MT5, and you throw all the quotes to one instrument, but you have some clients who are really far away from you, and they're trading from the mobile. and they receive all these quotes on their mobile phone. And their mobile phone, they doesn't handle this number of quotes. That's why you need to always handle this number of throttling. So from my experience, 1 quote per 20 milliseconds is absolutely fine for MT5. But as much as you throttle the quote, as big a slippage will be for the execution. So it's always something like.
So how do we service those clients in remote locations? So or I know I heard you talk a lot about penetrating through Chinese firewall, for example. So what do we do for those clients? How can we service them better if we can't place the server next to them?
Okay, for such regions like Asia, especially Chinese mainland, there is some kind of struggling about the connections to their clients on this part. So in this case, from my experience, the best solution is to use Alibaba Cloud. It's the cheapest solution for now. There is many other solutions, but they have their own fiber channels inside the country. So you can use their own network, and you can set up your access points inside the country, but the connection will go through their own private channel to your server. So this is the best approach. If you will set up it another way, how it's like usually do without any experience, you will set up access servers somehow, and it will connect through the internet. In this case, you will have some kind of droppage of the traffic. You will have bad stability of the connection, and etc.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just want to add why also it's not like you can connect like your data center to your trading platform through the internet, but why it's very bad. So because imagine it will work through many internet providers, like especially between, for example, China and London. You can have like up to, I don't know, 10, 20 network providers in between. But when you buy some dedicated channel from Alibaba or whatever network provider, they guarantee for you that you always will have the same route. It means you will always have the same latency, and this channel will be like stable. If they guarantee it's still stable, yeah.
Sorry, you want to finish?
No, that's okay.
Speaking about Chinese region in general, do they still use the following, the common, let's say, setup with London as a LP, or they use some other hubs like Singapore or whatever?
From my experience, I can see, yes, still many brokers, even in Asia, anywhere, they use London for their liquidity. As I remember, like I would say, I don't know, 6 years? Few years ago, they were like, it was popular like to have liquidity in Singapore, and there were some attempts to have a good liquidity, but still like the best liquidity from my experience in London.
As I know, it's very hard to find good liquidity provider in this region. That's the problem.
Yes, exactly. This is the main.
So just coming back to the latency question. So what is an acceptable, and as you said, if it's a network provider that can guarantee latency, what is acceptable latency from, let's say, China to London?
Actually, we can answer this question. Actually, you cannot have less than 190 milliseconds. You cannot have it. It's like literally you cannot. But
because of the speed of light, right?
Yes.
Because of the speed of light, we have some limitations, the way particles move.
But it's still acceptable if you're managing to execute it quickly, or if you have B-book execution, which is different story. It's not topic of this current discussion.
Sure. If you're interested in that, you can go and find Marat later on, and he will tell you everything about it. So another thing, okay, let's go back to London. Let's go back to Equinix. Obviously, size matters. So I'm not going to go to Equinix and buy a rack there, right? I'm not going to put my servers there. So, but as I understand, the recommendation of MetaTrader is still to have dedicated machines, or what would be your approach? So.
I'm guessing this recommendation is quite outdated, first of all. But anyway, it's much easier to just rent dedicated server, put everything together in this server, and run. it will be fastest way to set up the broker, to start. But when you start growing, when the broker start growing, you need to have some additional services. And when you will need to set up additional services, it's much better to connect these additional services through private network to your MetaTrader, not through the internet. In this case, you need to build it somehow. I'm using virtualization very heavily, and I'm very happy with this. But I know that you can put some more money and just buy dedicated servers, dedicated hardware, dedicated network hardware as well.
So for those less technical of us, when we say virtualization, do I understand correctly that, well, I know, but maybe you explained better, is that you have a physical server and you can allocate the space on that physical server to be as a small server within the big server?
Yeah, you can just split the server by several different services.
Okay.
And put different services on different virtual machines.
Okay. Valter, is that the approach you are taking? And can you also tell us about failover? Because when I get my MetaTrader, I know that I need not one server, but two, three, two?
Of course, yeah, you need to have at least two servers. So one is a main and one is a backup. So we all understand why, I hope. You can have like as many as you need access points and data centers. Yes, and for virtualization, I agree with Marat, because when you have especially when you have a big broker and you manage like big infrastructure, you have, I don't know, like 50, 100 servers maybe for your internal purposes like back offices, CRM, some web pages, etc., whatever. So you can use virtualization. You even can use it for MetaTrader hosting, MetaTrader server hosting as well. But in this case, you have to have very knowledgeable people in your team, because they should know how to manage this virtualization. It's not like very trivial, I would say. So for example, in our case, in Bourse, we do not use it for MetaTrader because we just don't need it, because we do hosting for clients and we should like isolate server of each client from other clients, right? And we don't want to have like one virtual machine where we host all the clients together, because it's just dangerous. If one client will do something, he can affect other clients as well.
Or if they get DDoSed or whatnot.
Yes, this is. But for big broker, yeah, I agree. It makes sense. Yeah.
And what about cloud?
This is a good question. There is some big clouds like AWS and Azure, for example. There's, I guess, some more. But they are much more expensive in terms of the costs when you want to deploy the same configuration and buy dedicated in compare with AWS and Azure. But there is a profit of this. You don't need to have a very specialized team to manage everything. Of course, you need somebody who understands how to configure everything. But you don't need a team who will manage the servers itself, the network, and other stuff. But it's expensive, as I said.
Do you want to ask a question? Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, basically, we have a question about scaling from small brokerage to large brokerage. And in order to get there, let's just start with the average cost of the server infrastructure, let's say in Azure and in an alternative solution. And then basically let's please cover how to scale it up.
Okay. Yeah, why not? Okay, there is no such a thing like cost, the basic cost, because it very depends on how you will start, from what product you will sell from the beginning. If it's just a Forex, it's very basic. You don't need heavy resources. If you want to start with American shares, of course you need bigger server, and it's rely of course on your client database from the beginning. How many clients will trade? How many clients will be online at one point of time? But from my perspective, like around 500 per server will be enough for the beginning. But of course you need a main server, backup server to switch whenever you have a problem with the main. And maybe some additional for some services. That's it.
Can you compare it with Azure, let's say?
Oh, right now I don't know the prices. but yes, maybe, yeah.
Not 5, I guess, but at least 2 times it will be more expensive. Yeah, it's really more expensive because you will need to pay like for this, for traffic, for network, for like resources.
There is
you
many
charge more.
hidden costs.
Yes, hidden cost, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so from the beginning, I think the easiest way for the startup will be go with dedicated machine. It's much easier to configure, so you don't need to, to understand virtualization, configure it. And actually, it's not very like directly connected to size of the broker, how you need to scale your infrastructure. You should just monitor your resources, I mean server resources. So you should have monitoring like, all the stuff like CPU utilization, memory utilization, like your disk performance, IOPS, etc. You should control this, and if you see that like, you can have a rule, for example, if you see that you permanently have more than like, I don't know, 50% utilization permanently, you should start thinking about upgrade.
So Walter's saying is that when you're growing, when your broker starts become a middle-size or big-size broker, you need some additional services and you need to monitor your infrastructure very carefully. When you add some additional MetaTrader server, of course you adding it on the same in the same networking. So I prefer to have private network between the servers, which will be connected directly server to server or through the switches in the same hoster, not going through the internet. It's more privacy. It's like you have firewall and you just open the ports you need on this firewall. Don't allow any other traffic to go.
Guys, am I correct that within the normal market, let's say, conditions, you will not have the spikes, let's say, but you will get the spikes only when the market is moving sharply and stuff. So how to get ready for when I should be monitoring my systems?
Yeah, you should monitor it always.
I understand.
And you should keep some history to compare it with.
But I mean that the spikes of the activity, they are occasional, right?
Yeah, we can do together. No, yeah, I agree. You should monitor it always, and it's not always connected to like market activity. I mean, all the spikes, etc. You can have, I don't know, some client who will send you like some, very, I would say, usual case when you have client who started his EA on MetaTrader. Client doesn't have like any money, like $10 maybe on his account, but he's trying to trade. And he can like spam your server with, I don't know, 100 trades per second or more, etc. And you can have some problem because of it as well. Yeah, and
not only. Let's say, no. I know what you're asking for. You're asking for some market movements like NFP or okay.
Patterns, let's say, because I believe that the load is not equally distributed across the day, right? Is the server load is increasing from time to time?
Yes, of course. You have some client activity at the day is bigger client activity. Of course, you have like if you have American shares, it's market opening and market closing, and you have much more quotes at the same time. And yes, you need to monitor server to be able to say something. You need to monitor it 2-3 weeks and say where is the limit. And if it's not enough memory or there is a big CPU spikes or a very important counter is IOPS, it's a disk input-output operations per seconds. This is very important counter for MetaTrader because it's very heavily rely on the disk speed. On the disk IOPS, let's say, it's not speed, it's a different thing. And many brokers doesn't know about this. Which is very important. And if it's slowed down everything.
So I know there is a difference between monitoring the hardware and monitoring MetaTrader. I'll ask Valter, can you describe the difference? Like what you were describing, Marat, was that for hardware or for the MetaTrader?
It's actually very connected. I mean, of course, if your hardware is not working properly, your MetaTrader will not work as well, right, properly. So, but you are correct. You should monitor, yes, first of all your hardware performance, and at the same time, you should monitor your MetaTrader as well. For example, simple example, MetaTrader 4 is a 32-bit application. It can handle only 4 gigabytes of memory. So even if your hardware has like 64 gigabytes, for example, it will not help because MT4 can handle only 4 gigabytes. And you should monitor directly in MetaTrader for how much free memory it has, like it's right now, right? So, and if you can see, for example, that it's going to be 0 very soon, you have a problem. So you should restart your server and review your configuration, etc.
This is actually a very good reason why you shouldn't, like for MetaTrader 4 at least, you shouldn't give them a big dedicated server. It's better to split the server by virtual machines because MetaTrader 4 doesn't need these resources. It cannot use these resources. So it's optimizing.
Yeah, you can save some money, and easier to monitor actually.
Yeah, exactly. But in terms of monitoring inside the platform, there is some metrics you can. Okay, there is no like solutions on the market, or maybe I don't know these solutions, but you can take all the information from MetaTrader or from database, exporting database, and monitor some metrics, like let's say how many trades per seconds you have. This is a very important metric, or how many quotes you have in this per second for each instrument, or how many clients sitting on each data center in terms of the time, which is very important to understand which data center is more loaded or not.
Yeah, as far as I understand, for MetaTrader, the trades is not the problem. It could be the quotes potentially that would cause all the traffic, right? Okay, Roman, do you have any more questions, or should we take some questions from the audience?
I would take the questions from the audience.
Okay, fab. Any questions? Oh yeah, cool.
Oh, Roman.
Thank you. Yeah. If let's say some of you would be a broker, then what a feature you would request, or several features you would request from MetaQuotes to implement? Like top 1 or top 2 or something?
For infrastructure?
For anything as a broker, what would be the need?
It's very depend on the what you're struggling for right now.
What?
What you're struggling for as a broker is very dependent. Well, okay.
I agree. Yeah. For MetaTrader 5, actually, can we have an option to have multiple history servers? Especially when you have a big broker, for example, with a lot of symbols, like US stocks, maybe stock options, etc. You have a lot of price updates per second. And we saw with Marat, actually, the limit of MetaTrader 5. And the solution will be if you can have like the same as access servers, you can have like multiple history servers.
I can tell you this is not possible because of how it's built, how it's architected. Okay, history server actually it's receive the quotes. It's all the gateways in data feeds in history server is connected to actually in the history server connected, and to receive the quotes, operate with the quotes, save the quotes, and but all the trading is executed on the main trade, our trades server. That's it. Yes, yeah. For the feature. Oh, I don't know right now. We already asked MetaQuotes for many implements we need to do. Yeah, okay. Send it to MetaQuotes as well. For now, there is some things that they implementing, but they are not working as expected. So when you start touching these things, and you're expecting it to work right, like you're expecting, but they're not working at all sometimes. So, yeah, I don't know. So I don't have any feature right now in my mind.
Okay, another question, if I understood correctly, if I may, of course, is it correct that access servers, as we discussed from China, doesn't allow you, let's say, to the broker to speed up the execution, but only the quotes, like one direction of the speed up to the quotes to the client, but not the execution, correct?
Yes, correct. It's big. They have cache of the quotes and charts and ticks. inside the Access server and MT4 data center as well.
So only to receive.
Only to receive, yes. But okay, listen. If you have data center in London and clients in China, for each client you will send the quotes from the London.
Yeah.
But if you have Access server in China, you will send the quotes from China, which is much closer.
But first they need to be sent from London to
One time only,
Ah.
instead of multiple times. And the quotes are caching only by request of the client. So if client open the chart and with like Euro USD, for example, only this chart, only these ticks will be cached on the Access server. Next client will receive it from Access server directly.
For example, if I have 10 clients in China, the quote, one tick will come only once.
Only once, yes, right.
And be distributed.
Yeah,
Ah,
but the trade when they press the execute, open, buy, sell something, it will go all the way to the main trade server.
This is very nice. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Related question to the China. Marat, I mentioned, if you know, if we host something inside of China related to Forex, should we have some license or something like that?
Yes,
Because
you're right. There is some, I don't remember how this license is called, but for MetaTrader data centers, I don't think it's needed. At least we talk with Alibaba and they confirmed it's okay. And you can put it on some random port, which will not be like founded by the government.
Yeah. This is a good point, actually. Yeah. So, yeah, again, from what I know, like you need a license to have a website, especially in China, but you will never get a license if you're a forex broker, you understand? So they will not allow this. Yes, and so you can host and MetaTrader server and data centers as well, but hosting of MetaTrader server inside of the China, it's very dangerous. They will have all your data, like, you know, same with any database, like if you're planning to do like client database there, don't do it. It's dangerous.
More for the websites.
no, for websites,
But the license, yeah.
But again, in case of these structures you mentioned, anyway, it's gray a little bit.
I didn't have any cases like this.
Yeah, so we do it for clients as well.
Okay.
The MetaTrader protocol for the clients, it's a binary protocol which is like encrypted, and it's changing from year to year, so it's not like stable. You cannot find it normally. You can actually, but
No,
it's not priority of the government of the China, I guess.
Hopefully.
They're dealing with other problems. They're dealing with other problems now.
Okay, by the way, it works, we don't have problem now, but it's illegal based on Chinese idea, because they understand this is Forex, you don't have license, stop.
Forex is restricted in China.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just everything that is forex in China is illegal.
Okay, thank you.
But it's still biggest market, yeah?
I missed it, but the financial market's allowed in China. So they separated Forex.
Are we doing a regulatory panel now? No.
Question of regulation, if it's not difficult.
Oh, I'm not specializing on it, but it's restricted as it is in many Asian countries.
Any further question, guys?
Or we let Marat. Thank
Please.
you so much. One more. Are you? Ah, great. Okay.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Thank you for the discussion. It was very insightful. I have a question about the heavy load on the servers and the capacity of MT4 and MT5 in terms of trades per second or online clients. In your experience, what are the limits, and how would you suggest to deal if one gets a limit for, let's say, for MT4, which is not very easy to scale, and how would you proceed in this case? Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So for MT4, we all know limitations. So you have to keep like size of your databases less than 4 gigabytes. So I cannot say how many exactly users and orders, but you should monitor like size of the databases.
It's around 6 million orders
Oh,
kept
yeah.
in this database.
Okay,
yeah.
so, and how to, like, what you can do if you see that you are reaching limits. So, and usually it's for orders database, not for users, because you have much more orders than users. So, again, from my experience, what brokers, the best solution, I think, they do kind of archiving of orders, but not like usual MetaTrader archiving. So you can just, you know what?
I can explain, yes. There is some kind of archiving when you have old client who traded, let's say, from 2017. You just taking his old trades per year, let's say, and instead of his operations buying, selling, you making one balance operation per year. And it's like thousands of orders became one order, which is decreasing. But you need special software for this. There is a lot of on the market.
Oh, there is
Yeah,
plenty.
plenty.
Okay, we're gonna have to move on to the next topic, but they're staying here and they're gonna be having drinks. So if you have any questions related to MetaTrader or hosting or optimizing the performance of your MetaTrader, please find them and just and use them.
And regulation.
And Chinese regulation as well. So our experts on that. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot.